Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Higurashi no Nakukoro ni Go, episode 6. First reaction of the week, and everything, and it's on Thursday. I put up the videos explaining everything about this week and why there's been no reactions and whatnot, so yeah, not going to get into that here, but either way, last we left off with episode 5, we met Shion Sonozaki, the twin sister of Mion, and at the end it's kind of unclear who it is that's saving Keiichi from the just motorcycle punks. It could really be either of them. I was guessing it was Mion, but honestly, hard to say. So it seems like, yeah, I can tell which arc this is going to center around, which loop, based on the fact that we are getting Shion and everything. So this is going to be a fun one. I'll leave it at that. So far, we really haven't gotten any big stuff in the fact that this is a sequel and the fact that this is a repeating of the original series, but like in a new time period. You know what I mean? Since episode 2, because episode 2 mentioned or showed Rika and Hanyu having a discussion, but it hasn't really gone anything past there about explaining that this is not just a reboot, it's a sequel, it's directly a continuation of the original. So yeah, that's fun. Gonna be interesting to see what changes, what stays the same. I'm very excited. That being said, I just because I don't know how much is going to change, I'm not 100% on what we're going to expect here. We're just going to have to find out. Now, as another note, the dub for this series just started. The first episode of the dub is out. I checked it out, and yeah, we're going to continue reacting to this in the sub. The dub is not necessarily very bad or anything. It's just, this definitely is one that I would rather watch in the original sub, just because I don't want to have to wait until we get caught up with however long that takes. And on top of that, I don't want to just have to worry about it at that point, because let's be honest, the dub isn't good enough to make me want to wait. It's not like Steins Gate Zero when we reacted to that, where the dub, in my opinion, is better than the original Japanese voicing. So it's like, it's not a situation like that. It's kind of the opposite. I find that the Japanese voicing here is better. And it was the same thing with the original. But I also feel that the original dub was possibly better than what we get for this dub. I don't know. It's hard to say. I'd have to hear more of it. But either way, we are continuing with the sub. So yeah, we're going to continue this hopefully as normal, continuing forward. Just as a reminder, there will be a week coming up that is a One Piece week. And there's going to be no Higurashi on that week, but otherwise we'll pretty much be fully caught up and everything. So yeah. Either way, we're just going to get this started, hope for the best, and take it from there. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in three, two, one, now. So I looked up Mio Takano's voice, and she is voiced by Miki Ito, who I don't really like. There's no one she's portrayed that I would recognize the voice from. There's a couple shows where it's like, oh yeah, I've seen the show, I know the character, but it's like that's definitely not where I would recognize the voice from. The only like really big character for me is a character I've never actually really listened to much in Japanese, and that's Android 18 from the Dragon Ball Z franchise. Like Dragon Ball Z, uh, Dragon Ball GT, and Dragon Ball Super, she is the Japanese original voice of Android 18. The thing is, I don't like the Japanese dub for the most part of the Dragon Ball franchise, especially because of I despise the voices for Goku and Vegeta, especially. They sound so freaking terrible. Um, but I always really watch the dub for that kind of stuff. So it's like I know 18's dub voice. I've heard her sub voice before, but very rarely, and it's been a long time, so I wouldn't have even recognized that. But yeah, she's been in multiple other things, but it's like I definitely don't like recognize, like really recognize the voice from anything. So that's interesting, I guess. that I guess it just sounds similar to maybe another voice I've heard in some other anime. Um, Either way, so this episode kind of continues off the last. We see the aftermath of the town of Hinamizawa and Shion coming to Keiichi's rescue against the biker thugs. And then we get to kind of pretty much the rest of the episode is just Keiichi like kind of forming this bond with Shion while at the same time finally realizing that Shion and Mion are different people. Because like there was one part that almost kind of confused me. There's one part when they're at the cafe and like when like she's heading off to go do the work, he calls her Mion, and I'm like, wait, no, Shion. I even corrected him at that point. It's like, but then I'm thinking like, wait, could that have been Mion just taking Shion's place? But no, it was basically revealed that he thought that Mion was like messing with him or something, and so he thought that there was no actual twin thing going on, and that it was all just like some kind of prank. Um, because he saw how surprised he was when both of them ended up being there together and everything when they went to the shop. Um, and this does confirm what we said before about Mion working at that shop, at the hobby shop. I thought it was just a game store before, but I guess not. It's just like a full-on hobby shop, which makes sense considering in the like before we saw that the doll that was given to Keiichi came from that shop owner. So yeah, we knew that that's where Mion worked because it was basically blatantly said. So yeah. Um, but yeah, that's most of this episode. Other stuff we get is like stuff we've already heard, like the history of the Dam Project and the Curse of Oyashiro-sama. But it's kind of given through new context. We kind of get like a little more detail in some ways about it. And it ends off with Shion and Kiichi catching uh, Takano and God, why is his name escaping me now? Like usually his name is the one I remember. Takano's is the name I forget. Oh my God, why is his my mind just completely blanked on it. Uh, I'm gonna have to look this up. Tomitake, Tomitake, Takitome, something like that. Either way, they're breaking into a Furude family shed, basically. I mean, it's basically like a shed. Um, to see what's inside. They seem to have an idea of what's inside, but and Shion mentions that she kind of knows what's inside, being a member of the Sonozaki family, and she wants to see it for herself. Um, they eventually convince Keiichi, who's kind of the only holdout for going in, because it's a Furude family shrine. It's against their rules and not really a good thing at all to do to break into it. But they eventually convince him. Um, and the episode kind of ends with them about to head into the shrine with Tomitake. That's the name, by the way, Tomitake, watching out and being guard, basically. Now, of course, I do remember all this from the original series, so I do know where this is going, but I'm not gonna say anything because not all of you watching may know where this is going, and so I don't want to spoil too much here. But yeah, this loop is a pretty fun one, and I would say honestly, it's one of my favorite loops from the original, from what I remember of it. Um, it's been a while since I've seen the original Higurashi, but from what I remember, this was one of my favorites. Um, but you'll see why. Um, so yeah, I'm very excited to go through all of that and continue on with this one. Um, but but excuse me. um, there's a lot of interesting stuff to come. Let's put it that way. Another thing that this loop has been doing is it's kind of been building, like I mentioned in the reaction, kind of building on characters we've already had. Like obviously Keiichi's going to keep building up as a character, kind of as he's kind of our POV character, really. Being the new person in Hinamizawa and everything. So he's kind of the character we're supposed to see the situations through. So obviously we're gonna see him grow and everything as it continues on. But like we're seeing Mion and everyone grow in this one as well. We're getting just more information here and there on various things. It builds, and that's again like I said in the reaction, what I really like about the original series, and so far this one as well. They build on the information. They really like grasp how to grow it as it progresses along. And I think that's important, honestly. I think that's important for any series to do, to build upon things that they explain and start to reveal as it goes on. Um, to just continue to grow the lore and the characters and all. And this series gets to do it in a very unique way with time loops and everything. Um, but yeah, I'm very, very excited because so far this has been a great new entry in the Higurashi franchise. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's like really fantastic to see. And even though it's not a technical remake, it's a sequel, but it's kind of going through the same story beats and the same plot lines and everything. It's a really interesting idea that it's going to be really fascinating to see where it ends up at the end. So yeah, I'm very, very into this. But tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode of Higurashi no Naku Koro ni Go, and thank you so much for tuning in. So for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.